It was supposed to be a chill weekend. My parents were out of town, and for the first time, I had the house to myself. I'd ordered pizza, set up a movie marathon, and was ready to enjoy my mini vacation. Around 9 p.m., things started feeling off. First, the kitchen door was open. I clearly remembered shutting it after grabbing a soda. Then I heard it, a faint creak on the stairs. I paused my movie, listening. "Hello?" I called out, half expecting my paranoia to answer. Nothing. Just silence. I laughed it off, blaming my nerves. But then my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number, "Nice pajamas." My heart stopped. I was wearing my favorite ones, an old shirt and sweatpants. But I hadn't posted any pictures or FaceTimed anyone. I glanced around the room, suddenly hyper-aware of every shadow. The windows were shut, the curtains drawn. No one could see me. The phone buzzed again. "Don't bother looking. You won't see me." Panic bubbled in my chest. I grabbed a knife from the kitchen and started checking every lock in the house. As I passed the basement door, I noticed something that made my stomach drop, muddy footprints leading upstairs. I knew I hadn't been down there all day. With shaky hands, I called the police. My voice was calm. I didn't want whoever was inside to know I was onto them. "Hi, this is Alex," I said, masking my fear. "Can you send someone over? I think someone's in my house." The operator asked me to stay on the line, but I couldn't. I hung up and texted my parents instead, hoping they'd respond quickly. Then, I made my biggest mistake. I heard a faint tapping sound coming from my bedroom upstairs. It was soft but rhythmic, like someone tapping their nails on glass. Gripping the knife tighter, I decided to check it out. Step by step, I climbed the stairs, my breathing shaky. When I reached my room, the tapping stopped. Slowly, I opened the door, and my heart nearly leapt out of my chest. There, on the window pane, written in fogged breath, was a single word, "Hi." I bolted out of the room, running down the stairs, but before I reached the front door, my phone buzzed again. Leaving so soon? But I just got here. I wanted to scream. Then I heard it, the basement door creaking open behind me. The cops arrived just as I was about to run outside. They searched the house top to bottom and found no one. But what they did find was worse. In the basement, they discovered a makeshift living space, an old mattress, food wrappers, and my missing clothes. Someone had been living down there. The final text came hours later, after the police left. "Nice meeting you, Alex. See you soon."
I've always been obsessed with horror. Ghosts, killers, creepy urban legends. I live for that stuff. My idea of fun is binging horror movies alone in the dark. But I don't just watch them. I love reenacting them, scaring people, pulling pranks. My friends scream. My parents groan. They're all just too easy. My parents were especially over it. "One day you're going to scare yourself," my mom warned. I'd just laugh and say, "That'll be the day." When we moved into our new house, I knew I'd found my dream home. It had a spooky vibe, old, creaky, and surrounded by woods. My parents hated the drafty hallways and flickering lights, but I loved it. It was like living in a real-life horror set. That Friday, my parents left me alone while they went to a charity gala. I was thrilled. Finally, some peace and quiet. I plopped onto the couch with a stack of horror DVDs and a half-eaten pizza, ready for the perfect night. Around 9 p.m., there was a knock at the door. I paused the movie and listened. The knock came again, soft but deliberate. I peeked through the peephole but saw nothing. Shrugging, I headed to the kitchen to grab more pizza. As I passed the window, something moved outside. A shadow flitted by. I stopped, my heart skipping a beat, but then I laughed. "Get a grip, Too many movies," I muttered, grabbing my slice and heading back to the couch. As I sat down, I heard a faint creak from upstairs. I froze, the slice halfway to my mouth. Another sound followed, a thud, then faint footsteps. My stomach churned. The house was old, sure, but this didn't feel like the house settling. "Hello?" I called out, trying to sound braver than I felt. No response. The footsteps grew louder, moving from one room to another. Knife in hand, I crept up the stairs. At the end of the hallway, a shadowy figure stood, tall and still. "Who are you?" I shouted, my voice cracking. The figure tilted its head but didn't speak. Slowly, it started walking toward me. I panicked, bolted downstairs, and locked myself in the living room. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "You can't hide, Emily." Tears pricked my eyes as I called my dad. It went straight to voicemail. Minutes later, there was a frantic banging at the front door. "Emily, it's Dad." Relief flooded me as I unlocked the door. But when it swung open, I screamed. My dad staggered in, blood dripping from a gash across his chest. "Run," he gasped before collapsing onto the floor. Sobbing, I fled into the dining room, where the masked figure cornered me. I tripped over a box and fell next to my dad's lifeless body. "Why are you doing this?" I cried. The stranger grabbed me, his heavy breathing echoing in my ears. Then he pulled off his mask. It was Nick. I stared in shock as my dad stood up, wiping fake blood off his shirt. "Surprise," he said, laughing. I couldn't believe it. "You planned this. You love horror so much. We thought you deserved to live it," Nick said, grinning. I was furious and shaking, but the truth was, they'd gotten me good. I wasn't about to admit that, though. That night, I learned what it felt like to be on the other side of fear. It was a quiet Friday night. My parents had gone out for their anniversary dinner, leaving me home alone. I wasn't worried. Our neighborhood was safe, the kind where everyone knew each other. I even joked with Mom as they left, "Don't worry, I won't burn the house down." I spent the evening scrolling through my phone, half watching some random Netflix show. Around 9 p.m., just as I was settling into the couch with a bowl of popcorn, I heard it, a faint crunch of gravel outside. I paused the show, my heart skipping a beat. It could have been an animal, or maybe one of the neighbors. But then I heard it again. Footsteps. My stomach tightened as I got up and peered through the living room window. The porch light barely illuminated the front yard, but just beyond the gate, I spotted a figure. A man. He was pacing, his movements slow and deliberate, like he was waiting for something, or someone. I froze, gripping the curtain tightly. My mind raced with excuses. Maybe he was lost? A delivery guy looking for the wrong house? But there was no car, no uniform, and he didn't look like he was in a hurry. Instead, he just stood there. I tried to shrug it off, telling myself it wasn't a big deal. But as I stepped back from the window, the sound of the gate creaking open sent my heart into overdrive. He was inside. I quickly turned off the lights and grabbed my phone, dialing my mom. Voicemail. "Dad?" Same thing. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely type. The footsteps grew louder, crunching against the gravel path leading to the front door. I could hear his heavy breathing now, low and guttural. I crouched behind the couch, barely daring to breathe. Suddenly, the doorknob rattled. I bit my lip to stifle a scream. He was trying to get in. My mind raced. Call the police? Run to the neighbors? Hide? Before I could decide, the rattling stopped. For a moment, there was silence. Then came a loud thud from the back of the house. My blood ran cold. I realized he was trying the back door now. I grabbed the biggest knife I could find from the kitchen and bolted upstairs, locking myself in the bathroom. My legs felt like jelly, but I managed to send a frantic text to my neighbor, Mr. Harris. "There's someone trying to get into my house. Please help." Every sound seemed magnified. The ticking of the bathroom clock, the creak of the old pipes, and then the faintest sound. Footsteps on the stairs. He was inside. I pressed my ear to the door, trying to track his movements. The footsteps were slow, deliberate, like he was savoring the hunt. Suddenly, the house was flooded with red and blue lights. Sirens blared, breaking the suffocating silence. I heard shouting, deep voices barking orders. I stayed frozen until a loud knock on the bathroom door made me jump. "It's the police. You're safe now." It turned out Mr. Harris had seen the man pacing outside my gate earlier. He thought it was odd but didn't intervene until he got my text. The cops arrived just in time to catch the guy trying to force open the back door. When they searched him, they found a 7-inch knife tucked into his pocket. "Do you know how lucky you are?" one of the officers said. I nodded, but I couldn't speak. I couldn't shake the image of his shadow pacing at the gate or the sound of his breathing just outside the door. That night, I learned that even in the safest neighborhoods, danger can come right to your doorstep.